Are live. Yes, indeed, we are live. Thanks to our good friends over at StreamYard. Before I get to anything, and we do have a lot to get to today, real quick, if you do think you can do better than us, which I know a lot of you think you can do, head to that link in the description because you could get $25 off if you sign up for StreamYard using that link. Go ahead, start your own podcast. Y'all think you could do it better than us? That's what you guys be telling me in the comments. Go ahead, use that link. Anyway, we got Coach Cole joining us in about 5 minutes. We have Matt Liverman joining us about 10 minutes after that. But before we get into those fun things, I first need to address something about Gordon Hayward. So, Thunder GM Sam Presti came out and basically took the blame for acquiring Gordon Hayward and said it was a mistake. And for context, in case you weren't aware, since joining OKC, he averaged just 5.3 points in 17.2 minutes per game for the Thunder in 26 regular season games, and he did not score a single point in the postseason. Not very good. And let me say this about Hayward, because I can't remember a great player of my lifetime whose career will most likely be associated with the negatives. Because Gordon Hayward is going to be remembered for two things: the missed half-court shot and the devastating injury. And a lot of podcasters or creators or whatever you want to call us these days are going to just focus on the negative because it's the easy thing to do. And I just want to take a minute to try and change that narrative for Gordon Hayward, because I don't think it's fair or accurate based on how good of a career this guy actually had. Because this was an unranked high school recruit from Brownsburg, Indiana, with looks from only a few schools. 5'11" his freshman year of high school. This is a kid who nearly quit basketball to focus on tennis. He goes to Butler, a school not many of us had heard of before he was there. Leads them on a 25-game winning streak that, of course, ended in that famous half-court heave that didn't fall. Gets drafted. Leads a Utah team to some really good seasons. Puts up 15 points, 4 bounds, 3 assists in over 500 games for Utah in his career. And I don't know what's next for him. Perhaps he doesn't even know what's next for him. But if we're going to speak on Gordon Hayward in the basketball community, let's please speak on him in a way that's accurate and fair and not cherry pick the last few seasons, not focus on the injury or the missed shot, because that injury, that could have been anybody. And to me, this is, regardless of what that injury did to his career, this is still the story of an underdog making his mark in the world. And I just want to be the one creator out there, the one basketball influencer, podcaster, whatever you want to call me, that keeps things positive about Gordon Hayward. So if y'all don't mind, let's just keep this positive, because there's too much negativity in this world. And I think Gordon Hayward deserves that sort of limelight in his career. But anyway, we got Coach Cole waiting for us. Coach Cole, you ready for us here? I'm not seeing his camera pop up right now. Hoping everything is good with him. Let me unmute him and bring the lad on right now. Coach Cole, you got us?
Oh, yeah, I think.
We don't see you, Coach Cole.
Why not?
Because your camera ain't on, brother.
I'm here, y'all.
All right, well.
I'm here,
there you are. There you go. He's remembered to turn his camera on. But anyway, a lot of y'all can hear it in my voice right now that I'm clearly not 100%. So with that in mind, you have something up your sleeve as far as giving us a little bit of advice on how you could stay healthy?
Yeah, listen, you don't want to wait till you get sick to try to help yourself, right? You got turmeric on the list, so let's talk about turmeric. If you take turmeric every single day or every other day, it's going to make sure to fight all of that bullshit you put in your body from Monday through Friday and possibly Saturday and Sunday if you eat fucked up 7 days a week, right? You don't have to do that, though, to stay, from getting sick. These are my real go-tos, right? Ginger and lemon. or ginger and lime, right? Juice it. Why? Okay, if you're doing lemon with the ginger, it's going to lower your cholesterol levels. It's going to reduce blood pressure. It's going to help reduce the risk of cardiovascular and liver disease. That's if you use lemon with the ginger, right? If you cut it with lime, you're going to neutralize free radicals. You're going to make sure to reduce the oxidative stress in your body on a daily basis, right? So it's two different things you can do. While both of them help you, you can do different ones if you feel like you want a lime, if you feel like you want a lemon. It's strong either way it goes. Now, another thing you can do is take oregano oil every day. One drop under your tongue, right? That's going to make sure to fight anything pertaining to being a diabetic person, right? And it also helps the cancer cells wipe them out, right? I didn't mention the wheatgrass and the ginger. Oh, you got wheatgrass as well. Yeah, you juice the wheatgrass daily, along with those things that you're doing that we just spoke about. You're gonna make sure to bless me. You're gonna make sure to fight and the bacteria in the walls of your stomach, right? And fight bacteria externally. Make sure that none of that is an issue for you. Don't mind me. I'm not sick. I just, quick sneeze. I hope you got something from that, Hank, because you don't need to be sick, man. You got 19 caps. You can't be down.
I know. It's tough. The wheatgrass to me is like so fun and exotic. Like I like the idea of wheatgrass,
That shit is nasty. That's the worst one for me. I ain't gonna lie.
It's tough to take down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that shit is. I do the wheatgrass maybe once or twice a week. I do the turmeric once or twice a week, but I do the ginger, lime, ginger, lemon daily. Daily.
What's the main benefit of the oregano oil?
I'm gonna say it helps with the diabetes, the sugar levels and shit like that, and it fights the cancerous cells. So the oregano oil is super, super important.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this is big
One
stuff.
drop. Just think about it. One drop. Just a drop.
Yeah. I appreciate you switching it up. I know you had some interesting predictions. You correctly predicted Indiana to the conference finals. You correctly predicted Dallas Mavericks to the conference finals. You correctly predicted Boston Celtics to the finals. But this is some of the most important stuff that you'll ever say on this podcast. Because if people listen to this, you're going to stay healthy for a long time.
Yeah, fuck basketball. You guys want longevity in life? This is what you do.
Yeah. All right, Coach Cole. Speaking of basketball, I'll let you go back to practice. Thanks for stopping by.
I appreciate you, King. Always love, Hank.
All love, brother. Talk to you soon.
Later.
Well, that was fun. Why don't we bring on guest number 2, and that is Senor Matt Liverman, live from where we at? We're having a nice dinner date in New York City right now.
Yeah, right now we're on 85th and 2nd.
Yeah. Okay. So 85th and 2nd. Oh, you don't say. Nice. Well, let me quickly address something before we get to this sick article that you wrote. And I don't know if you could see it, but I have your graphic up on the screen, these tier rankings. But can I quickly address the Knicks? Because I didn't get to do it with Jason, and I just want to say something.
Yeah, let's do it.
So when I have kids one day, and I'm talking to them about the 2023-2024 New York Knicks, I'm not going to say that they were the champions, but I'm going to say that they were the best team in the league. Because the reality is...
I think that's aggressive.
The reality is about this Knicks team is we didn't lose, right? Like, we just got hurt. No one beat us. Indiana didn't beat us.
That, you know how many teams could say that literally every single year?
A lot, but we're one.
Can Milwaukee say that?
Milwaukee can say that, but we're better than Milwaukee.
Can Miami say that?
We're better than Miami. And we would have if fully healthy Knicks team would have with OG Anunoby, would have beaten Boston in 7 games. I'm very confident saying that because when we were fully healthy and we had our full squad, we went to Boston and beat the brakes off of you guys. And if we were healthy,
because if there's anything we know about the NBA, it's that the regular season matters. Sure.
Look, I'm just saying the Knicks in 2023, 2024, we did not lose. We just got hurt. No one beat
Yeah.
us.
Look. This is the most fun Knicks team in your lifetime, in my lifetime. Like there's zero doubt about that. Zero.
Yeah.
And if they can find a way to bring back OG next year, maybe Shot Randall, get somebody that's better fit to run with Brunson, with Hart. I got to bring Hartenstein. Lock him up for good. That's the best offensive rebounder in the league.
Yeah.
It's a good young core, and look, if I'm the Knicks, I go after Mikal Bridges this summer.
Have to.
Yeah.
Have to. I mean, if you're Brooklyn, I don't know what would possibly make anything in that trade worth it to allow your crosstown rival to have a great team and beautiful branding and everything, you know.
I think he's an unrestricted free agent.
I believe it's after this year he is.
After this year? Okay.
Yeah. So regardless, though, this is, I mean, you just said it. Not only is it the best and most fun Knicks team of my adult life, but it's the first time in my life the Knicks have ever had a very clear direction in what they're trying to do. It's the first and only time, and I absolutely love it. But anyway, can you quickly fill us in on your new gig and how cool it is and all this cool stuff you're doing with Rovell and a little synopsis of this article you just dropped?
Yeah, sorry about the noise in the background, but so I'm a producer and reporter for Collect.com, started by Darren Rebell. It basically what it does is we're a website, we're a network that we track the memorabilia market, and it's something. It was an untapped media. There was untapped media potential, and right now we're taking advantage of it. We're the first 24/7 media outlet covering the space, and we've really hit the ground running. We've been around just since April 8th, and we already have pretty much 200 articles. We have 50 videos on our site. We're doing really, really well. And with this article, something that I did, I can say that this is certainly one of the most impressive things that we've done, and certainly something that we're extremely proud of. Is I sent FOIA requests to every single public school in the country to find out what they're getting paid for their involvement in EA Sports College Football 25. And as you can see to the screen, there's a tier list. And what it's based on is their results in the AP poll over the last 10 years. And so you have your typical names like your Bama, your Ohio State, your Clemson, but some people might be surprised at the fact that like Utah and Iowa are getting paid more money in royalties from this video game than Florida State, than Texas, than Washington, who was just in the national title game. So certainly something that's really interesting to look at, and still trying to see what else we can find out in relation to these payments, in relation to cover athletes, et cetera, things like that.
Yeah. So when you were getting all these FOIA requests from schools to find out how much they're going to be making from this video game, what was which one stood out to you the most as the biggest surprise?
I think overall the thing that stood out to me is what they were using for a criteria and using the AP poll. The college football playoff has been around for exactly 10 years. I'm shocked that there wasn't any sort of impact from the CFP, because once you get to week 7, the AP poll doesn't matter anymore. It only what the CFP, it means absolutely nothing. And so the indication for what this tells me is that they were really caring about bowl games.
Yeah.
Just because, look, for the last 10 years, it's only been 4 teams every year in the CFP. And so obviously they're trying to say that the postseason means something for the other 130 teams in college football, but it doesn't. Like at the end of the day, the goal is to win a national championship, and you're not doing that unless you're in the CFP. So I'm not surprised using the AP poll as a primary metric, but I was really shocked that the CFP didn't have any involvement whatsoever. Like, to me, it's a crime that Washington's in tier 2 when they have 2 CFP appearances in the last 10 years. And look at all the teams that don't have a single one in tier 1. Oklahoma State doesn't have one. Penn State doesn't have one. Utah doesn't have one. Iowa doesn't have one. And so the fact that Washington has 2, it doesn't sit well with me. And it should sit well with Husky fans as well.
Yeah, I was going to point that out, and I'm glad you brought up Washington, because the biggest atrocity on this list to me is that Iowa, who punts every possession, is in tier 1 instead of a school like Washington. who's actually gone out there and played some beautiful football over the last decade or so. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Washington, it ended up being a 3-score game. But Washington was within 3 points with 6 minutes to go in the national championship.
They were right there.
Right.
They were right there. What ACC school? Because I know we got to talk a little ACC. Do you feel like there was an ACC school, maybe like Florida State, who got robbed on this list, who should be higher than they are?
Yeah, the other thing that I think should be taken into consideration for this is, and it's something that you can totally do, you can look at the ratings for teams in terms of their TV viewership in the last 10 years. Like, that's something that should have been taken into account, because I guarantee you Florida State would be in tier 1. They're one of the biggest national brands in the country. There's a reason they felt, and probably still feel, that they can go independent and be successful. They're a huge national brand. They're one of the best programs of the last 50 years. And at the end of the day, they're a team that made a college football playoff appearance during this time, and really should have made 2, because we all know that they got robbed last season. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, yes, they had a bad spell with Willie Taggart, the end of Jimbo, and then the beginning of Mike Norvell. But Norvell's built that program back into a powerhouse. And look, say whatever you want about the end of Jimbo's reign, he won a national title early on, and then they were in the CFP the first year that these royalties were taken into account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So over under 2.5 more years, Florida State remains in the ACC.
Frankly, I don't think the question's over under 2.5 more years for Florida State. I think it's over under 2.5 more years if the ACC stays together.
Yeah.
Because Florida State's not the only one. Clemson wants out of this deal. Miami wants out of this deal. North Carolina wants out of this deal. It's just some schools are tied together. Like North Carolina is tied to NC State. Clemson doesn't have that. Miami doesn't have that. Florida State doesn't have that. So they have a lot more flexibility for if they're able to go. But like you told me, within 3 years, Florida State is in the Big Ten, is in the SEC. Clemson's in the SEC. Miami's in the SEC. And North Carolina and Virginia are in the Big Ten. Like, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you and I can absolutely relate to wanting to leave the ACC, but so I'm not unsympathetic to all of that. But I'll let you go enjoy your dinner. Looks like you're having a nice hot date in the Upper East Side. We're gonna sign off anyway here, but thanks as always for the time, my brother.
Take care, Hank.
Peace, brother.